the best choice.
And good morning, I'm Brahm, Resnik. Welcome to Sunday Square Off. Our roundtable panel is waiting in the wings. We begin this morning with our newsmaker guest, House Speaker Kirk Adams of Mesa. He's taking on the state pension system, announcing a planned overhaul last week affecting everyone from police and firefighters to his own colleagues in the legislature. Speaker Adams, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be here.
This bill, HB 2726, takes a sweeping approach to reforming the pension system. Can you point to the #1 problem that needs to be fixed right now?
Well, there's really three #1 problems. First, we need to eliminate the abuses in the pension system. We need to target them and eliminate them. Second, we need to make sure that the system is stable for cops, firefighters, and teachers. And third, we have to protect the taxpayers from this huge unfunded liability of public pensions.
Now, we've heard elected officials at all levels say budgets need to be cut, but the Arizona Republic story in November showed they get the sweetest benefits of all. Now you are taking them on. What has their reaction been?
Look, it should be no surprise that a pension system designed by politicians for politicians would be the most generous. That shouldn't surprise you or me or anybody. And what I've decided to do is that the pension system for politicians needs to be dramatically reformed. And to lead that effort, I have voluntarily withdrawn myself from my own public pension that I would receive had I stayed in the system. You simply cannot have politicians receiving benefits, pension benefits, that are far and away better than rank-and-file state employees and much better than what you and I would get in the private sector.
So what has been their reaction to this, the politicians?
Well, a few of them have actually followed my lead and have withdrawn themselves from the system. Others are considering it. But I think there's a recognition that this can't persist, that the public pension system for politicians has to change. For example, that system is only funded at about a 65% ratio. That means it cannot meet its obligations for a very small pool of people, mind you. So we have to do a lot of work with that system. There are other systems that needs work as well. But what we're looking to do is to at least bring the politicians' plans to parity with the rank-and-file state employees and teachers.
So everybody kind of in the same
right.
system. Now, I read the bill. Help make one thing clear for me and for the folks watching. If I'm an elected official, a cop, a firefighter, rank-and-file state employee, will my benefits change under this bill, or does it only affect future employees?
We have a constitutional prohibition from diminishing current benefits. And so this bill, most of this bill is prospective. However, there are a few elements of the bill that we can begin right now. For example, the elimination of automatic COLA increases in those
cost of living
increases that some of these pension systems still provide. The second thing that we can do is we can start moving employee contributions to a 50-50 match. So for the average teacher in the classroom, they put in $1 and their employer, the state, puts in $1. But if you're an elected official or if you are in the public safety system, you can get as much as a 3-to-1 match from your employer.
So for elected officials, getting back to them, this isn't necessarily such a profile and courage here because they're safe. However they cast their vote, their pension is safe. It won't be affected, correct?
Yeah, most of their pension will not be affected. But one of the things that we hope to change is the multiplier effect when they finish their service. And the pension system is pretty complicated, but just understand this. When a politician retires, they have a multiplier effect of 4 in their pension system. When a state employee retires, it's a multiplier effect of about 2.3.
Multiplying what?
Multiplying their years of service and their salary and so forth. It's a formula. Essentially, their formula is double what a rank-and-file teacher formula would be. What we're doing is saying, look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You should have the same multiplier effect in your pension system as that teacher has.
Help police and firefighters understand what's going on here, because for them and for large segments of the public, they believe they deserve all the benefits they are owed because of the service they give us, and they put their lives on the line for us.
If you devote your career of service in the classroom or on the line as a firefighter or a cop or as a state employee, and that is your career, then you should be able to count on a pension system that is fair and that is equitable. But if you serve 5 years in the state legislature, there's no reason why you should collect a pension.
But will police and fire pensions remain the same? DROP, for example, I believe is going away.
We would eliminate DROP under this bill. We'd raise the retirement age all across the board, different for state employees than for public safety employees. But their pension system will be protected. Right now, the police and fire pension system is 65% funded. 65% funded. They cannot be assured that we can meet their obligations in the future unless we fix this system now. If I am a new teacher or a mid-year career teacher, I ought to be concerned about the financial stability of this system. And to make us sure of that financial stability, we have to make those changes now. They're tough choices, Brahm, but we have to do it.
Okay. You mentioned earlier you dropped out of the state pension system. Is that just symbolic?
Well, it's real money to me. As a matter of fact, it's estimated that over the course of my life, I would have collected nearly $260,000 in pension benefits for what would have been 6.5 years of state service. That is not...
if you served for 6.5 years at retirement, you'd collect at retirement
over the course of my life, I would have collected $260,000. Now, let me tell you something. When the voters sent me to the legislature, I don't believe they sent me to collect a pension. It's certainly not one of that size.
Will you take a pledge now that wherever your political career takes you, you will not take a public pension?
Well, I don't know where my political career is going to take me. This may be the end of it. So I don't know what...
This bill may be the end of it?
The bill very well could be the end of it, no doubt about it.
But will you take a pledge not to take any public pension money?
Well, no, I'm not prepared to take any kind of pledge like that right now because, Brahm, I'm going to be back in the public sector or the private sector someday, back in my small business, earning a living. I have a 401k right now that I contribute to. I'm a small business owner. That's what got me into politics in the first place. But this much I will tell you, is that the pension system all across this country, particularly the federal government, needs to be reformed as well.
And finally, you mentioned, well, I asked you where your political career might take you. Some congressional seats are going to be opening up most likely in 2012. Do you have any plans for that? Do you have your eye on any of those congressional seats in the East Valley?
I'm not going to enter the speculation game, but I will tell you this, that if there is a seat that opens in the East Valley, for example, I want to make sure that whoever assumes that seat has their eye on the needs of the East Valley and Arizona. For example, there's nobody than Arizona that knows better about why the federal government's overreach is harming the states. There's nobody than Arizona that knows the importance of the federal government finally securing our border. Those are the kinds of issues that I'll be looking to whoever assumes a position in the East Valley if there's an opening.
Sounds like you just described Speaker Kirk Adams.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see. Speaker Adams, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really
Thank you.
Appreciate it.